Olson. Welcome to this discussion. Just have a note that we're going on live streaming now, so we can start pretty soon. I just want to check and see if we have any more people joining us before we get going. Okay. Anyways, all right. Well, this is September 23rd meeting of the Apportionment Commission. I've reviewed the matter, and we do have a quorum, as I've indicated. I think I've seen myself and Senator Jackson, Senator Davis, Senator Bennett, Representative Dunphy, Representative Brennan, Representative Parry, Representative Kryzak, Representative Morris, and plus our sort of citizen members, Josh Tardy, and welcome and thank you for joining us, Josh, in this time. Bev Ulenik and Matt Moonen. Is there anybody I've missed? Okay. Well, I want to thank you then for joining this commission at this point, and I want to emphasize, I know that besides this meeting, you've been doing a lot of other work, working with your various caucuses on this thing, plus you have a bunch of other work to do too, I know, in your regular jobs, your legislative responsibilities. So it's very much appreciated what you have done over the last several weeks, getting all these maps together. It's impressive to recognize that we've already got the county commissioner maps approved. We have the House maps to consider. We're working positively on the Senate and the congressional district maps. So whatever, I'd be appreciative. And I would ask also if there's anybody among the commission members that wants to say anything else this morning before we begin. I'd welcome any comments you have to observe where you are and where we've been going and things like that. Any other commission members? I'm not too good at recognizing the hands up, so if anybody wants to make any observation, just please go ahead and do so, and this machine will probably click to you pretty soon. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we begin the sort of formal part of the commission meeting? Well, thank you very much for that and joining us. And we also are joined by, and again, I guess looking at the thing now, I see Senator Libby. Welcome, Senator Libby. Representative Perry. Welcome, Representative Perry. And also we have Julie Flynn and from the Secretary of State's office, John Bolton from the Attorney General's office, Stefan Hankins joining us too, as someone who's working with the Democratic caucus. We appreciate all of you and invite all of you to make such comments during the course of the commission hearing as you want to make as things go on. I'll begin. The first item of business on our commission agenda is to, consider the Apportionment Commission minutes from the Monday, September 20th meeting. Does anybody have any comments or suggestions on that?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
Okay, thank you, Representative Kryzak. Can we accept the minutes as drafted? All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Whatever.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Next matter we have to do is review and discussion of the House of Representatives maps that were circulated, the unified maps that were worked as developed. And I think most of you actually spent a good amount of time over the last week or two working on these maps, and I want to thank you very much. And it's we have a statewide map. We have maps by county. We have maps that also provide a specific map of the towns that were, or the municipalities that were divided. And this represents a tremendous amount of work by the commission, through the commissioners, through the caucuses, the consultants, the staff, and all. And I appreciate it very much. I know it's very difficult because everybody has views about one or two districts, but what you have to do is have a coherent 151, and looks like with the unified proposal, you've achieved that. Does member of the commission want to make any comments or ask any questions about the House, the unified proposal for House district maps? Any observations you want to make, any questions you want to ask to some of those who may be involved in drafting it, because we do have some of the consultants on that we have that way before we get to the public comments. Any commission member want to make any observation? Okay, well, I want to again emphasize, I thank you for the work you've done up to now, because I know most of you have seen them and actually had a hands-on experience in developing them. We do have an opportunity, and by the way, I would point out, in addition to public comment opportunities, we've also had a lot of people submitted written comments since we got the maps out. To allow people enough time to look at the maps and comment rationally, we, as you know, changed the meeting from what was planned to be yesterday to today, to allow people to have a reasonable time to look at the maps under the very difficult time constraints we're on. And I know that became particularly more difficult because some of the time we had to, thought we were going to be able to have to sort of meet and develop some of these matters a little earlier. Perhaps we weren't able to do last week because of the COVID distancing restrictions we faced. But anyways, we have, and so we've received a lot of material. We'll consider that as part of the discussion, and then go on from there. But to say, any comments anybody wants to make before we move to the public comment section? Any members of the commission or the consultants? Okay, and you've probably all seen these things and commented on them enough already, so whatever. We do have several folks who signed up to speak. At this point, I'm going to begin inviting those folks to join us one by one. I would emphasize that because of other things we have to do today, the time for comment is necessarily going to be limited, and we have already received, and for those of you who also considered written comments, we've been able to receive and review those already. So whatever. The first person that I have is indicating having signed up to comment is a Michael Turcott. Is Michael Turcott available to join us?
Yes, I am. Good morning. How is everyone?
Good morning, Mr. Turcott. Thank you very much. And I know you also submitted some detailed comments and written comments, and I appreciate your efforts. Go ahead, please.
I thank the commission for their efforts here, and a little background. In 2011, I went to court to have this commission dissolved for a nonpartisan citizens commission to be put instead. I was acting as a pro se and learned a great deal about redistricting and relevant Supreme Court cases that determine the political and governing fate of each state's citizenry. At one time, I was an ethics instructor, and now I'm a home caregiver. I'd like to point out first that according to the Secretary of State's website, 53.4% of the Maine's population is not represented on this commission. That said, here we are in 2021. So full disclosure, I'm a registered Democrat. However, I did not use or did not have access to political data. I adhered to the standards below and followed the numbers. I offer the following maps for consideration for congressional redistricting. I use the website districtbuilder.org to draw these maps. This website allows, it's an open source website by Mapbox. It allows individual citizens to draw maps at both the federal and state level. The census data is loaded into it. The breakdown of the numbers for each district, the population number for each district is included. It also has a county, census block groups, and blocks. If we were to follow the commission's standards set forth in Title 21A, Elections, Chapter 15, subsection 1206, established by Reynolds versus Sims in 1964, then my opinion, crossing the least number of times necessary to establish districts does not take precedent over compact contiguous territory. The least number of times is but one leg and a three-legged stool, balancing all three by drawing a map that could be set as an art form. While the Democratic and Republican proposals cross the least amount of times necessary to establish districts as equally as possible, as the maps are not compact, barely contiguous, and some have previously testified look gerrymandered to fulfill each political party's agenda. So to change the mindset of what was before to the reality of what is now, it is necessary to put aside old expectations and be open to new outcomes. The census revealed people move around and the outcomes to redistricting process are going to change. So the first link below is a map I drew up. I call it the Monhegan Island map. The island's population was the last piece of the map to achieve the parity. If you can see
just so I can understand, Mr. Turcott, you are proposing to actually shift several counties in terms of your proposal, correct?
I am, sir. But the
Okay.
you know, the numbers, you have to follow the numbers. The numbers, you know, it has to be compact, it has to be contiguous, and it has to be the least amount of crossing political subdivisions. The first map here, the Monhegan map, is the most compact I could come up with. It does split 3 counties, Oxford. Let me see if I can get it up here. It splits Oxford, Androscoggin, and Lincoln counties. Let me get back here. It leaves Kennebec out of the picture completely. It moves Lewiston over to the 1st district. It takes Rockland and Vinyl Haven into the 2nd district. Now, I understand that this is quite a radical change, but this is how the numbers came together to get to the compactness, the contiguous territory, and the least number of crossings of political subdivisions. Let me get back to my comments here.
Now, I understand you cross political lines in 3 counties. The current one, unless I'm wrong, doesn't divide any counties or any municipalities. Is that right?
The current one doesn't, but the numbers have shifted. 23,600 people have vacated northern Maine. So the lines are going to shift. The obvious difference is, like I said before, is Lewiston, Rockland. But this may be unusual, but according to the Washington Post article in 2019, 21 members of Congress lived outside their district. So the primary reason for belonging, the primary reason is because these longstanding members, their lines have shifted with the census. The second one is more compact, and that it does cross 4 counties, and but it doesn't have the gerrymandered look. I'm going to use that term carefully, not to offend anybody, but everything's compact. Everything's just down into one district. And so going back to my comments then, I'm not naive to this process. I realize that there's a lot of heavy hitters on both sides of the party on this commission. But there's a high probability that the first map is going to be rejected. I get that. However, we need to understand that the idea of the commission was to serve all Mainers and not just the parties. And when the party agenda becomes priority over the best interests of the greater good, then I question whether, if this is a democracy. I'm not going to go that grandiose on it, but I question the motivations of what's important to the citizens or even the commission. So that's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Turcott by anybody? I'll just take a quick look here to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Just as I thought.
Turcott, thank you very much for your
Thank
presentation and your work on developing those maps for the congressional redistricting. Thank you very much. Appreciate your effort and your interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Next person I have for participating is, in terms of order of request, is Will Hayward. Will Hayward. Good morning, Mr. Hayward.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Alexander, members of the Apportionment Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to offer public comment today at this hearing, and thank you for all of your hard work. My name is Will Hayward, and I'm here today on behalf of the League of Women Voters. I'll start today by stating plainly our gravest concern, that the agenda today lists a vote on the state house maps, which have been available to the public for less than 48 hours to immediately follow the public comment period. We recognize the hard work this commission has done. To create state house maps in particular, and especially to find agreement on them between the caucuses, is something I'm sure was a challenge. That said, that is not where the commission's work should end. The league will be extremely disappointed if the commission moves these maps to the legislature today without time to consider feedback offered today or receive additional feedback. For some context, the state house maps were first released to the public around 6 p.m. on Tuesday, and the deadline to sign up for today's hearing was 4 p.m. yesterday. That's only 22 hours. Again, the public only had 22 hours between the release of the maps and the deadline to appear at the only hearing to offer feedback on how they will be represented for the next 10 years. And with a vote on the maps listed for right after this comment period on the agenda, it's hard for the public to have faith that its input will be considered. It's been hard for me to assure interested league members that's the case, for sure. We would respectfully request that the commission delays the vote on the house maps. That way, the public can emerge from this process, at least knowing there was an opportunity for the feedback offered to be considered. In our brief opportunity to review the maps, we've identified potential issues with how the island communities are sorted, which we have received some feedback on. And we've also identified possible areas where the commission's maps may not live up to the section 1206A of the apportionment statute. This portion states a requirement for functionally contiguous and compact territories where possible. That is not to say we are sure there are deficiencies with the proposed map, but simply to suggest that there might be, and there simply hasn't been time to consider feedback from potentially affected Mainers and to see if adjustments are possible. I mention this to highlight the sort of thing that merits more consideration than a quick vote today would allow for. These maps have been available to the public for less than 48 hours. The public's feedback should be an important part of the commission's process, and we hope the commission will see things the same and delay voting on these maps until public feedback is more considered. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I would be happy to answer any questions from the commission.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your observations, Mr. Hayward. I appreciate your interest and comments, and I don't want to speak for any other members of the commission because I know they've all been working hard. I would observe that we're doing the best we can with some constitutional deadlines that were particularly difficult with the delayed data. The last apportionment commission, the one that produced the 2013 report, had 6 months to do their work, and they did their work for 2013, which didn't include the congressional districts. They did their work on data that had been available to both them and the public for a year and a half. We're doing work on data that's been available to us. Been available 6 weeks today. I think it is, and with that, and you can see the house maps that we've developed and the county divisions we've worked out. It's been a lot of work, and I just want to emphasize to that we're doing the best we can. It was a potential vote. That's something that the commission will decide, but the reality is the commission has to make a decision on this, on other things, and develop a commission report to go to the legislature by the close of business Monday. And we've already had commissioners that are and consultants that have been working very hard. I can attest to, without naming names, I've gotten emails sent after 10 o'clock at night about this process. So it's not that people aren't working hard, and we definitely invite and interested in public comment. I'd also note that I think this is the 7th meeting of the commission, 6th or 7th meeting of the commission since it was constituted. A couple of those meetings were before we received the data, but I also think looking over the records of the 2013 commission, I think the 2013 commission had 4 meetings with public comment. So we're doing the best we can in the circumstances that were with the house maps perhaps a little bit delayed. because of the issues we had last week with COVID and distancing and things like that. But anyways, do any other commission members or anybody else have any comments, any consultants that they wish to offer with regard to Mr. Hayward's comments?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Representative Kryzak.
I'd just like to point out, regardless of how we vote today, it will still be open to put input to your individual legislatures all the way until the vote next Wednesday.
Good point. Thank you very much for making that point, Representative Kryzak. There will be that input, and of course, we'll be offering some support to the legislature in terms of what they do. But thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay, Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your testimony, Mr. Hayward, and I can tell you that from my vantage point, I haven't decided whether we should vote today or not, personally, and I don't see. I agree with your point that the House maps have only been out a very short period of time, and public comment and the public hearing is very important. With the Senate maps, at least although we don't have a consensus map, at least some discussion has been out there. We've presented ideas. They were sitting there for a while, and hopefully we can get to a consensus on the Senate map too. But I think the commission should, use whatever time we have, which isn't much, to make as an informed decision as possible. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you, Senator Bennett. Any other comments? Anybody wish to talk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Perry here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to thank you for your comments. I think that was absolutely correct. And somebody that was on the commission in 2013, for my first time, I learned a lot about, especially the House maps, on how when we're gonna have comments, and the people that like them, people that don't like them, people that don't like their district, and all that type of stuff that goes on all the time. But the one thing I learned in 2013 while doing this, we had a lot more time to do it. So, I was able to really, be more involved than this compact schedule. But the problem becomes on the House map. When you change one district, you change 8 other districts. And so one district may look a little funky, or one district may not be, exactly what the people in that area want. But the problem is, like Mr. Hayward mentioned, the numbers are the numbers, and you've got to be able to put the whole map together. And that was one thing that I really learned in 13, that how easy it is to change one district until you've got to fix the 8 or 10 other districts that are messed up because you do change that one district. So, that's the problem. And as you mentioned, the short period of time that we fall under, has kind of put us in this position. And I'm sure there could be a 1,000 different variations, but for both sides on this issue to come together on a map, I'm very happy about that idea. Hopefully we can also do that on the congressional districts and the Senate map. I think that's our job as members of this commission, is to come together. And I'm very happy that in the House, at least, I think we are at that point, hopefully. So hopefully we'll get that taken care of today, and can really concentrate on the congressional and the Senate maps, because as you mentioned, we only have until Monday. And really, we don't have until Monday. We have until tomorrow. And then Monday is more of a get all the paperwork in and to the legislature and everything else. So thank you very much.
Well, yeah, thank you for those observations, Representative Parry. I want to tell you, we're actually working with the Legislative Revisor's Office now, obviously prematurely, but because they have a pretty big task ahead of them, and we're giving them some background information with the caution that it has not been finally approved by the commission yet. I also appreciate your observations from your valuable experience from the 2013 activity. Any other comments anybody wants to make at this point? Okay, well, Thank you very much, Mr. Haywood. We appreciate your comments, and we'll, as you can see, the commission is taking them seriously, and we'll try to arrange how to address them.
Thank you.
The next person who's signed up for a comment is Michelle Cole. You have Michelle Cole. Okay, Ms. Cole, we're being advised you need to unmute yourself. Not happening.
There, how's that?
Okay,
Can you see
okay.
me? All right.
We've got you now. We've got you
Right.
live. We've got you live and can hear you too. Thank you very much for offering to comment.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Chairman and Commission members. Again, my name is Michelle Varullo Cole, and I thank you for this opportunity to speak before you. I'm a longtime resident of Bethel and currently serve as one of its select persons. I'm also involved in several civic organizations and entrepreneurial efforts in my community. This week's unveiling of a proposal to redraw Maine's legislative House districts in response to the census data came as an unwelcome surprise. And the bad news is now exasperated by an extremely short time window to get it done. It just looks like one more piece of collateral damage caused by the pandemic. So after hearing Mr. Hayward's comments just before me, I would echo his concerns. I mean, quite literally, the House district maps came out on Tuesday evening. It was during a Red Sox game and they won, but it came out just a couple days ago.
Oh.
Nevertheless, and with hope, I write today in objection to the redistricting proposal, which places Bethel in the same legislative House district number 78 as Rumford, Byron, Roxbury, Hanover, and Milton Township. The latter towns listed here comprise half of the 8 communities of the River Valley, so named because of their own unique topographic, commercial, educational, medical, and cultural interrelations. However, Bethel is not and has never been considered a River Valley community. Accordingly, it has never been placed in the same House district as Rumford. Why start now? I mean, quite literally, Bethel was plucked from its community. It's the largest town in its community, and it was placed in another community, which is a radical change from previous House districts. So I would ask you to please consider the following. Bethel is the service center community for Andover, Gilead, Greenwood, Newry, Upton, and Albany Township, the largest, if not one of the largest UTs in the state, all of whom are currently part of the existing House District 117. However, under the proposal, none of these towns will be aligned with Bethel. Bethel and all of the aforementioned towns, along with Woodstock, are part of the same school district or tuition their students to MSAD 44. Why remove Bethel, again the largest, from this group of towns and ignore their long-standing history of interaction regarding schools and social relations? Bethel is a ski town and has been legislatively aligned with other ski towns, namely Rangeley and Greenwood, for many years. Ski towns and their resulting employment and housing development patterns are somewhat unique. It makes good sense to keep Bethel, Rangeley, and Greenwood together. Bethel is a mountain town and well known for its institutional and commercial interface with hikers on the Appalachian Trail and other heavily used trails spread across all of the towns identified in the new District 73. Bethel is oriented toward the Oxford Hills and not the River Valley. An overwhelming percentage of Bethel's incoming and outgoing commercial and passenger vehicles move on Route 26, not on Route 2. And this condition just speaks volumes. The best governance is achieved when communities of similar interests are grouped together to elect their representation in Augusta. In that spirit, please abandon the current redistricting proposal as it affects Western Maine and keep Bethel in a House district with all of its closest neighbors. those whose features and attributes most align with the people of Bethel. And respectfully, I submit this, and again, thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ms. Cole. We appreciate your comments. I would just observe, as Representative Parry just did, that, sometimes this is very difficult because we have to align a lot of districts, not just one, and we can't consider the focus of just one. So that's a challenge. Any other comments or observations for Ms. Cole? Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Cole, thank you so much for your testimony. To the chair's point, have you considered any other alternative configurations specifically that would meet the population needs that might be preferable in your view to as a solution to the issues that you raise?
Yes, in generalities, I haven't done it specifically, and I'd be happy to do that and submit that today. In generalities, going back to the district that we're currently in, 117, that includes most, if not all, of our school district, as well as the western areas that go run up along the side of New Hampshire and into Rangeley. And if you need to bring some more people in, there's been some flexibility in the past. You could bring Woodstock back in from the east, and you could bring Kingfield back in from the northeast as well. And then this would also realign the Rumford River Valley area back into their closest neighbors, that has Mexico and some of the other northern Oxford County communities. I'd be happy to look at the maps and submit it as public comment.
Thank you. I think you may have meant Rangeley rather than Kingfield.
Correct. Rangeley and Bethel are pretty much the two anchors of District 117 as it is now. At one point, I think back in 2014, Kingfield was in with that district and then was moved out. Same with Woodstock. Woodstock on our eastern side was in 117, or what was called 117 at that time, and then it was moved out at the last reapportionment.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your raising the points.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Ms. Cole? Taking a quick look, I cannot see any. Ms. Cole, thank you very much for your efforts and for serious consideration of the maps, giving us the history and all. I mean, that, and we'll really appreciate it and take it under consideration. I do want to point out that these things aren't always fixed in stone, but they have to be adjusted according to other things. And I want to give you one example of where another person in the past successfully commented and made some changes in the maps. In 2003, the Maine Supreme Judicial Court developed some draft maps and all, and then was circulated to the public for comment. And there was a lot of concern. At that point, Senator Bennett came in as a member of the public, making a comment, and he made some suggestions which were good ones and which were adopted. So these things aren't always just assured by the maps. There is some open-minded discussion, but as Representative Parry has pointed out, it's very difficult to adjust one without adjusting 8, and that becomes the challenge. But we appreciate your observations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, the next person to offer comments is Jonathan Albrecht.
Thank you very much to the
Good morning, Mr. Albrecht.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Yes, good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the commission for the opportunity to testify. I hope I have a very modest proposal that the town of Penobscot should be assigned to House District 16 and Castine assigned to House 17. And basically for very much the same reasons as Selectwoman Cole just laid out. Having lived in Dixfield, I know exactly what she's speaking of. Throughout its history, Penobscot has been assigned to House districts that included peninsula towns. That came to an end at the last apportionment when Penobscot was assigned to a district which was not compact, barely contiguous, and shared no interests with the other towns in the districts. You have the opportunity to correct this. District 17 of the unified proposal is an improvement over the old District 131. Penobscot does share some interests with the other District 17 towns. Castine in District 16 shares a great deal more. They have an MMA development center there. They have a history going back to the Revolutionary War with Bucksport. The Penobscot River and Bay join them. The lifestyle and interests of a major harbor join them. While Penobscot shares a great deal more with District 16. We have a regional economic development project in the works. We have a road network we share. Castine shares no direct road access from the other towns in District 16. We use the schools, medical care, and shopping that's available there. And we have had long shared borders with the other towns in District 16. We also have a common lifestyle and interests. Switching Penobscot to District 16 and Castine to District 17 improves the compliance with constitutional and statutory requirements of apportionment. And since the two towns have similar voting profiles, switching them would not affect the political balance in either district. It would, though, have a huge impact on the future direction of Penobscot and the peninsula. So I hope you will consider moving Penobscot to District 16 where it belongs and moving Castine to District 17 where it belongs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Albrecht, and we will certainly, the commission will certainly consider your proposal seriously. I want to point out, as you may or may not be aware, we've received a large number of letters with a similar or emails to the commission with a large number of public comments expressing similar concerns about some of the moves that were made on the sort of Blue Hill Peninsula with regard to Penobscot and other communities, and we'll certainly consider them as we will consider all public comments. Do any commission members have any questions for Mr. Albrecht? Seeing no requests for questions, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Albrecht, for your time and effort, and we appreciate it. As I say, the commission will consider your comments in the course of our work and deliberations. And the next person we have for public comment is Luke Siebert. We filed his request for comment somewhat late, but we have exercised the discretion to consider it anyways. Mr. Siebert.
Thank you, Justice Alexander, and I appreciate your flexibility in allowing me to speak this morning, and thank you to the rest of the commission as well. I very much appreciate your hard work. I'll keep brief. I've submitted a much more detailed written comment. I very much agree with much of what I've heard today from various citizens, as well as from Mr. Hayward of the League of Women Voters. I personally represent only myself as a citizen of Portland today, but I believe, and I want to reiterate concerns that folks have had about the data being provided by the commission not being adequate for the public to properly evaluate these proposals. Even as someone who has spent much of my professional career working with this type of data, I have found it incredibly difficult to properly evaluate these proposals and the timeline offered. And we still have not seen the requisite data being geospatial data for the Republican State Senate proposal, which makes it functionally impossible to analyze the merits or lack thereof of that plan, even for a professional analyst using professional tools. When I did attempt to analyze that Republican State Senate proposal, I did find that the variance in population between districts may in fact be beyond the 10% limit found acceptable by the courts. I wanted to make sure that the commission was aware of that fact. Again, really my biggest concerns are with the future redistricting efforts, and that data is provided in a complete and timely manner to the public so that we have the ability to evaluate and comment on these proposals. So thank you.
Okay. Do anybody have any questions for Mr. Siebert? Okay. Thank you very much for your observations, Mr. Siebert, and your detailed written comments, which were available to the commission and have been reviewed. And as I expect you already know, our discussions are with regard to the Senate districts, which you referenced, are ongoing, open-minded, and friendly, and we're hoping to have a resolution of those too. Again, we've had some issues because of both the close deadlines we have and some delays particularly last week, that were necessary but unfortunate in terms of our overall goal. But thank you very much for your observations. We appreciate your joining us, and also the efforts you took to provide the written comments. We appreciate those very much. Okay, and looking at the list, though that's the last of the people who requested public comments. We did have a large number of people who submitted written comments but didn't request to make public comments, and we have those and made them available to the commission. What I would the next issue is whether or not we vote on the representative districts now. We've just had a number of comments, and my preference would be to defer consideration of that. I recognize we have deadlines, but I think if we sort of had another commission meeting tomorrow, we'd might be able to consider those in light of the comments received now and in light of the comments that were received and circulated by yesterday. So what I would propose is another meeting of the commission at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to consider voting on these proposals, and also to perhaps, if we may have some better resolution of the Senate and congressional districts by then. So we've already decided and approved the county commissioner districts, and those are in process of being developed with our final report. Anybody have any comments or suggestions on whether we ought to vote now or later today, or at another meeting time? Again, the meetings will be remote, so none of you are going to travel to Augusta. I understand that they're going to be actually more, we're anticipating with the legislative council meeting, perhaps more restrictions than we have had in Augusta on meetings because of the resurgence of the of COVID. So anybody have any other comments or all before I ask for a commission decision on when we might do the next meeting? Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with that totally. I do think we should defer decision on the House and maps for today, take them up tomorrow. I'd like to consider the comments, and I haven't had a chance to read all the public comments yet. Peruse them and then take into consideration what we heard today. I would just flag, though, that tomorrow at least 2 members of the commission have a conflict with that time of 10 a.m. We've got another legislative subcommittee that we have, Senator Libby and myself, and maybe others. I'm not 100% sure, but so I might recommend a different time to that.
Well, what is the time? I mean, because we're really, sort of talking about this.
Yeah, I'll defer that to Senator Libby, who chairs the committee. He may have a better sense of how long that will last and all.
Okay. I have other requests for comments from Representative Brennan and Representative Parry. Perhaps Representative Brennan next.
Unmute.
Oh,
I'm now not on mute, but thank you very much. And I agree with Senator Bennett and with your proposal that voting today might be a little bit premature. I would ask if we were to meet tomorrow, would you be expecting to allow public comment again? Or would it just be a meeting to consider voting on the maps?
basically a meeting to consider the voting on the maps. I mean, I recognize public comment may be limited, but unless the commission takes a different view, I think, you know, with the deadline approaching so fast, I think we would have to simply have a meeting with discussions and all. We have had, I recognize it's been a close time. Public comment we have had, and people have been available to comment on the congressional and draft congressional and Senate maps now for over a week. I would not anticipate that, but remember, you are the commission, I'm not. So my proposal is to have a meeting tomorrow at a time that's convenient to the most commissioners possible to do it.
So just as a quick follow-up, you would only be focusing tomorrow on the House maps?
Oh, no. I hope we will. I hope we may have some information on the or some more unification on a proposal for the Senate maps and the congressional maps too.
Okay. So could I ask at this point of the representatives, both Senate and the House, if they believe we're going to be in a position to take that type of vote tomorrow?
We have to.
Yeah. The question is, you know, we're getting close to the end of the line, so we'll consider further. I got some requests for comment from Representative Parry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll take the other side of this. I think we should be voting on this today. We have congressional maps and Senate maps to work on. That will come up. The deadline's tomorrow, basically. We can go until close of business Monday, but Monday is put all the paperwork together day. So, you know, if you're going to have a meeting tomorrow, it needs to be about congressional and Senate maps. And today, I think we should vote on the House maps. You know, both sides have taken, 6 weeks of negotiation to come together on a map. Any changes isn't changing one district, as I said before, it's changing 8 districts. And if we continue down this road, we're not going to get anything accomplished. The deadline is here. And I think if you're going to have a meeting tomorrow, and as this is a citizens legislature, I'm going to be working tomorrow, so I have to go out on my loves to vote. So I won't be able to make the commission meeting tomorrow. So, but I believe that, we should do the House maps today. And then tomorrow's meeting should be 100% concentrating on the congressional and Senate maps. If there's any agreements, or if there's not going to be agreements, if they're going to go to court, or what happens on that aspect of it. But, to push it off till tomorrow, what's going to change between today and tomorrow, other than us saying we're allowing another day? I just think we have a constitutional issue. We have a court issue. We've been told we have to have it done by now and submitted to the legislature. For us to put it off one more day, I don't think helps us in any way. And I think if you're going to have a commission meeting tomorrow, that really should be with the Senate and the congressional districts concentrating on that.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you for your observations. I would point out, Representative Parry, that we already have in draft the sort of a final report. So we hope to be able to put that together fairly soon with the, once we get whatever agreements we have, or whatever unified proposals we have going forward. But I appreciate your observations, and I know we're at the end of of a difficult process, and I appreciate you and perhaps others got to do what you got to do to make a living. And so, anyways, appreciate that. Next I have is Senator Libby.
Thank you, Justice Alexander. The Speaker and the President appointed 3 of us to another commission where we're hosting our first public meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. That meeting was publicly noticed, so it is difficult to walk that back at this point. The 3 members are Senator Bennett, Representative Kryzak, and myself. So I'm just raising that for the commission's consideration. If we are to meet tomorrow, I might suggest a 11 o'clock start time or 1 p.m. start time.
Okay. Thank you. I will obviously try to make that adjustment. Obviously, I wasn't aware of that. Representative Morris.
Yes, thank you, Judge. I wanted to chime in and agree with my good friend and colleague, Representative Perry. I think, these maps, we've been going back and forth for a while. As he said, it's very difficult to make changes here over the next 24 hours or 27 hours, whatever time it is. You can't just change one town in a district. We've done what we can to keep it at 9,000 people per district. It was reached through compromise. I see no reason why we can't vote these maps today.
Okay. Any other comments that commission members want to make?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Senator Davis.
I have to be in Greenville at 1 o'clock tomorrow to meet with Governor Mills. There's no way I can meet tomorrow afternoon. Thank you.
All right. I understand that, and so we'll try to accommodate that. Any other comments? Could you be available perhaps at 11 o'clock, Senator Davis?
I could be available at 11, but I would have to leave by 11:45.
Okay.
I
don't want you to be.
There's a meeting with her tomorrow afternoon at 1.
Yeah.
So.
One thing I don't want to be suggesting is that people be checking into us on their cell phone while they're driving. I don't know. That's got to be careful about that. So, anyways, okay. Well, first question comes whether we should vote, whether or not we should vote on the House maps today. And my tentative ruling as chair would be that we not vote on those. We defer that till tomorrow. Excuse me. Do I still have a? That we defer that till tomorrow. I understand that Representative Perry and Representative Morris would like to go forward today. Representative Perry, your hand up still. You want to say something else, or you have enough?
Yeah, just real quick. I wanted to make a motion that we vote on the House maps today.
Okay. Thank you. And I take
I'll
it.
second that.
That's seconded by Representative Morris. Okay. Then the Representative Perry has moved and Representative Morris has seconded that we vote on the House maps today. Any other people want to discuss that before we proceed to the discussion? Representative Brennan.
Yes, Justice. I'll make a motion to table this issue until tomorrow.
Problem is, I'm just not skilled enough at these sort of legislative things because remember, I didn't come from the legislative context. But
Mr. Chair, if I may, I'll because a motion to table is non-debatable, I'll just frame it as a point of order, if I may. I don't think that we need to have a motion to vote. I mean, there should be a motion to approve the negotiated map and a second on that, and then Representative Brennan could then move as a priority motion to table. And a majority vote prevails, but it's non-debatable. So to the extent that Representative Brennan made a motion, if somebody seconds that motion, that would be in order for a vote, and then it would be tabled to the call of the chair.
Okay. Appreciate that advice, Josh Tardy. I appreciate that because that's something that a little bit beyond me, legislative thing. Representative Parry, do you want to make a motion?
Well, I wanted to change my motion in accordance with the good Josh Tardy, that I vote to approve the House negotiated maps.
Okay, and is that seconded by Representative Morris?
Yes, I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion before the chamber to approve the House maps, represented by Representative Parry, seconded by Representative Morris. Representative Brennan, anything you wish?
Thank you, Justice. I motion that we make a motion that we table this item until I'll make it a time specific until tomorrow's commission meeting.
Okay.
Judge,
go ahead.
before anyone seconds Representative Brennan's motion, as Josh has said, if it's seconded, then it's non-debatable. I think the judge had some words he wanted to say about why he thought tomorrow was important. So I mean, personally, I'd appreciate it if even if somebody was going to second Representative Brennan's motion, that they waited until the discussion was had before they seconded the table and motion.
Well, President Jackson, I'll withdraw my motion and allow Justice Alexander or others if they'd like to make a comment, and then reserve the right to make that motion again. So I'll withdraw my motion to table.
Thank you very much. The only comment I'd make is, again, I'm into parliamentary procedure now, and this is where you're all way ahead of me. So anyways, the only comment I'd make is we've had some concerns expressed. I hope we can vote tomorrow. But again, I understand that the positions of Representative Parry and Representative Morris. I would propose that we have a meeting at 11 o'clock tomorrow, which may accommodate the people who have conflicts either before or afterwards to do it. But again, I think those are comments I've made before we consider whether there's a pending motion to a table or not.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Wait a sec, Mr. Moonen, because I've got a couple hands that were raised ahead of yours. Representative Dunphy.
Thank you, Chair Alexander. I'd like to request that we have a corner caucus.
Okay.
That was my request as well.
Okay. Then what I'm going to do now is basically propose to close the meeting for 10 minutes. Would that be enough, Representative?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I would propose to close the meeting just to get to a round number. I'd propose that we order a recess of the meeting until 10:15. Is there any objection to that?
No objection, Mr. Chair. And I would ask that both caucuses consider this to the extent that somebody may not be available tomorrow. I know that the joint rules, I believe, allow legislative committees who have members not present during a vote to register their vote with the chair or the designated staff person to see if we are authorized to allow members who are not present to cast a vote in a remote means.
Okay. I think we would be, though. Again, I'd ask the legislators, and we have the president of the Senate, luckily is a member of us, if we could have a remote thing. The problem is, for at least a couple of the things we need to vote on tomorrow, we don't have a pending proposal yet for the Senate or the congressional district. We do have a pending House proposal, and if the legislative rules will allow it, we could allow people to cast their vote in advance for the House proposal, either for or against. But I'd ask the Senate President if that would be possible to allow people to be able to cast their vote in advance if they can't be available out of necessity tomorrow. And that necessity could be, obviously, you got to get out and, you got to get your lobster traps from time to time, and there's kind of a time limit on that, or other necessary business reasons, or health reasons, or personal reasons. Would that be possible, President Jackson?
Yeah, thank you, Judge. I mean, I'm actually going to check right now with the executive director, Ms. Gresher, about if our order is still in. I believe if the order is still in, then it's not a problem. But the reality is, I mean, I think we're all going to have to vote electronically. So we're going to have that ability. I mean, and we would if the joint order is still in place. So I'm going to check right now, and I'll get back to you after the caucus.
Okay, well, I'm confident we have the order in place, because that's what we're doing. Until we've done in the past is voted electronically on things. The question is, can a person cast a vote? Can Representative Parry cast a vote at some time with regard to the House districts and perhaps others before the commission meets to vote, because he is unavailable, and I will rule for good reasons he's unavailable at tomorrow's meeting. Representative Parry wants to comment on that, I think.
Yeah, just real quick, if we vote to approve the maps today, we don't even have to worry about that. We can concentrate on Senate and CDs tomorrow.
I
So that
understand.
would kind of solve that problem right there,
Yeah.
because I don't see how things change. The House
Okay.
map is a negotiated map between the House and Senate, between the House Republicans and Democrats. We've negotiated a very difficult map. To think we're going to change something now blows up the whole map. So I don't, if the goal is to blow up the map, then we don't need to vote today, because it's going to get blown up. But I'm just disappointed that after all these great negotiations that have gone on between both sides, that we can't come together on this, in a bipartisan way and vote these House maps in today, and then concentrate on the CDs and the Senate tomorrow.
Okay. Senator Bennett.
Thank you, Judge. A couple things. One is on the procedural matter, usually the protocol in the legislature is to allow people to vote up to 24 hours after the vote, not before the vote. And I think that would be more fitting in this particular context, because as pointed out, we don't really know exactly what the motion might be, particularly on the congressional and the Senate maps, if there are any. And so I think generally the way that works is that the chair and in the legislature would be the presiding officers. But in this case, I think it would be you, Justice Alexander, would be the recipient of that vote, would validate it to your satisfaction, and then it would be duly recorded, having been made within 24 hours of the actual vote taken in the commission. You could see if there's any objection to following that rule, and if not, I think that it would stand. On Representative Perry's comment, I would just say I certainly have no desire to blow up any maps, and I certainly understand the tension that he raises about moving one district and another. But I do think the public does have public comments important, and we've heard from some people today, and I just saw the maps too for the first time the other day, and I've read through some of the public comment, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't want to blow up the map, but I would like to just know exactly what I'm voting for and take that into account. So I wouldn't. That's just speaking for me. I understand that all the tensions involved here, but I don't see a need to vote on it today.
Representative Parry, another comment, and then I'm going to sort of.
Yeah, just real quick to Senator Bennett. Under that guideline, you can't have a negotiated Senate or CD map because they don't know what it looks like yet. So does that mean you're not going to have any public comment on those? Because if today the both sides in the Senate and the CDs get together there isn't any public comment because you're at the deadline here. So that's why I say I think that we should dispense with the House today and work on the others.
We have had plenty of opportunity for public comment on the maps that each of the caucuses have put out on the congressional district and the Senate. That's one difference. And I know they're going to be different than the final map, but go ahead.
I was just going to make the same point, Judge. We've heard public comment on the congressional and the Senate, not on. We don't even know if there's going to be a consensus map on Senate and the congressional yet, but we have had more. Certainly, we had public comment today on the congressional map. It's been out for more than a week, so I do think that's a big difference.
Okay, all right. I'd ask some guidance from President Jackson or Josh Tardy and what we should do now. Do we want to go to the caucuses? Do we want to have a vote on something or what? My proposal, based on what I've heard so far, and it's just sort of tentative now, subject to commission review, is that we have a commission meeting at 11 o'clock, a remote commission meeting at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, that we do allow people to vote after the commission meeting if they cannot be present for 24 hours. I can consider, because I can receive and consider it in the weekend as we're preparing whatever we prepare for the final report on the matter. That's what I would propose, but I may be totally out of line compared to what the legislative appropriate direction is, and I'd ask direction from my friends President Jackson and Josh Tardy on that.
Yeah. Thank you. If I may, Mr. Chair, you have the discretion and the prerogative right now to declare this commission meeting in recess, and you can tell us when to come back. So if the chair suggests that we go into a caucus and recess for 10 or 15 minutes, that's your call. You don't need a vote.
Okay. Do I have the capacity to declare the commission in recess till 11 o'clock tomorrow morning?
I would prefer just to go to corner caucus for 10 or 15 minutes and then reconvene.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay. Well, we don't, as I say, there is a motion on the floor, and at this point, before we call for any further consideration of votes on the pending motion, which is to adopt the districts, I'm going to declare a 15-minute recess until 10:25. So when it was commissions in recess till 10:25, and we can declare it closed up till then.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Hello again. I'm going to wait till I see a few more people. We have a number of members of the commission and related people I don't see back with us yet. I'm going to wait another couple of minutes before we need to proceed till we get some of those members back, because some of the ones were commission members who had expressed a particular interest in how we do things today.
Judge,
until I get some more of those back before we proceed.
Judge, I understood that the presiding officers could give up till noon of the next business day that we voted. So if we vote tomorrow, members would have till noon Monday to vote.
Okay, I'm ready to start the meeting again. Based on the discussions that may have occurred in the caucuses, does anybody have any comments they want to offer before we proceed to discuss what we were discussing? Representative Parry?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Am I on?
I can hear you and I can see
Okay.
you.
Okay, good. I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
And I'll withdraw the second.
Okay, thank you. Matt Moonen, comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say that, you know, I certainly understand the urgency that everyone is feeling and the deadline that is looming. But we've received a lot of public written comment. We heard oral comment today that was actually new to me. I hadn't seen any of that in the written comment that we'd seen in the last few days in terms of the feedback we received about Oxford County. And, you know, I echo the sentiment of Senator Bennett and the chair that it would be helpful to have some time to process what we've heard this morning and what we've received in writing in the last few days. And, you know, there's a few of us who are not legislators on this commission. And as one of those people, I feel a special responsibility to the public, you know, as someone representing the public, to make sure that they understand that we are taking what they have to say seriously. So I agree that we could, if a motion to table this until tomorrow's meeting came forward, I would think that would be an appropriate motion.
Okay, but the motion's been with, the pending motion has been withdrawn, so don't need anything in the table. What I would propose to do is simply, you know, close this meeting and schedule another meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, by which time we hope those several commission members who are have other obligations might be available. At that point, we would have potential to plan to vote on the House plan after any more opportunity for anybody sends any more written comments, or after our further ability to consider the comments that have already been filed, both written and oral. And then also if we have Senate or congressional district proposals to vote on them, with then also allowing people who weren't available out of necessity, for example, Representative Parry, to vote later, hopefully by 6 o'clock tomorrow night. But and that vote could be done by email to me and copy to all of the commissioners. But anyways, so that's what I would propose to do, is close this meeting. Schedule another meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock to discuss and vote on the House maps and House plans, I should emphasize, and to also, if we have any unified plans for the Senate or the congressional districts, to vote on those at that time too, after we've had more time to do public comments. Any comment on that proposal before I see if that's acceptable to everybody? Anybody else want to make any other comments before we proceed on that? Okay. Okay. And as part of that, would there be any objection to members of the commission who are absolutely unavailable because they have work responsibilities like Representative Parry, or compelling personal health reasons that they can't be available, to be able to allow them to vote by 6 o'clock tomorrow night by email to the rest of us? Because what will happen, the way those votes can be properly considered, is I will, after the commission meeting tomorrow, issue a very prompt report of what votes have been taken, and indicating the commission members that were not able to be present and that they can vote by 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And I recognize this is sort of a commission rule, a little bit ad hoc compared to what the House practice or the Senate practice might be, but that's what I propose. Any other comments on that? Okay, then at this point, I would declare the meeting closed and look forward to seeing most of you at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I recognize some of you can't stay a long time, but hopefully whatever proposals we have, we'll be able to have considered more of the public comment we received in writing, or that we heard today, or that we heard at the our meeting on the 20th with regard to the Senate and the congressional districts and whatever. So anyways, thank you very much. I look forward to, participating with you at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I would declare this meeting adjourned. And I want to emphasize, we do have a draft commission report already that we've been working with, and some of a few of you have seen, and some of the have seen, and I will get that more available tomorrow to whatever. Anyways, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, and I know I'm going to be checking with the caucuses this afternoon and other people this afternoon. I'll be seeing some of you probably when I electronically or whatever a little later today. But have a good one. Thank you. Take care. Be safe. Good day for this meeting.